we get a lot of questions about how do I actually get it into my cat or dog. So in this video, we're talking about administration to a cat. I have a few things here that I'm going to show you, and then we'll talk more about actually putting it in the animal. Depending on the product that you're using, you may have a few different forms. So most of you are working with a liquid-based form, and I have some just water here that we're going to be using as a test today. And then hopefully you have a dropper that actually has metered marks on it. If you don't have these lines, you can still estimate, but it's ideal if you can actually have marks that tell you how much of an ml or a milliliter you're administering. You may be working with a powdered product such as this, and this is really nice to mix into a bit of wet food, which we'll go over in a minute. If you're administering a liquid-based product to a cat, it's really important that you train up to that point. We have another video focused specifically on training, so this is just a demo. You have ideally your dropper that has some metered marks. Fill up to whatever mark you've been instructed. And then for kitties, you really have to get a sense of what works best for them. Sometimes less restraint is ideal. So in Najah here, I'm going to tilt her head up just slightly and then try to put this dropper in the corner, one of the corners of her mouth. And the further back you put it, good girl, so good, the more likely it's going to go down the hatch. Now the problem with some of these products is that they are quite strong. Some of the more medicinal products smell quite heavy. And so you do again want to work and train up to this. Ready for one more time? Yeah, good girl. Good job. So then one other option we have is to actually mix, especially if you have a powder-based form, but you can also do this with some of the liquids, mix that into a little bit of wet food. As an example here, I just have some natural balance and we're gonna take a small bit of it. One of the important things is to have this portion be quite small. You don't want to add your product to a large bit of food and then the cat not want to eat it. So you wanna make sure that the portion is small enough that they're actually going to finish it. Then if you have a powdered-based substance, take whatever measure you've been instructed to use, and then make sure that you actually mix it in quite well. And if you match the taste, you can actually be quite successful with this method. So if you're using a quite heavy or strong oil, you might try to find tuna, fish, or a heavier oil. Sometimes cheeses can work really well. Any really meat-based formula is usually pretty successful. Sweet things can also be good, but you want to make sure that you can mix it successfully into whatever your base is. And then we'll see if they want it. Ready with this? In all animals, we worry about taste aversion, them getting a bad taste in their mouth and never wanting to try that food again. So in cats, even more so than dogs, we want to be careful that we don't give them a taste that they absolutely hate and then we lose all ability to feed them like this. But when you mix into an appropriate food, usually we're pretty successful.